Hello.
How are we feeling? This is the last day of juices.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I am so ready to put some food in my mouth.
So tomorrow morning, we will be starting our raw plant-based food. I advise you all start off with fruits. So apples are really good to break fast with. Berries might be good for you to break fast with. Anything that's soft, anything that is going to be just easy on the gut, easy to digest. Smoothies are really good. So if you're making a smoothie, maybe add some sunflower butter, almond butter, and cashew butter in there. I make my own nut butters now because they're so expensive in the store, and I figured that it would be, cheaper for me to just spend my money on the nuts so that way I could eat them and also make other things with them. So I made my own sunflower butter. Here, mine is very thick and I just roughly blended it because I'm going to be mixing it with other things. So it's more like a paste for me, but the natural oils will come out with the sunflower butter as you blend it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll start with something simple. Let me go get my gloves though, because we're going to do the carrot cake bites first. All right, so for the carrot cake bites, it's very simple. As you can see, I did not give you guys any measurements with the recipes because I want you all to learn how to taste as you go and to also get in the habit of cooking to your own taste. So we have carrots here. These, let me switch the view for everybody. Spotlight. There we go. So this is just carrot pulp because I juiced some carrots earlier. I did carrot, turmeric, apple, and ginger. So that's the juices that I'm going to be drinking during the week. Highly advise and recommend everyone you should continuously be juicing. So even though we're incorporating raw foods, you're still supposed to be drinking your juices every day. No, it doesn't have to be a gallon, but make sure you're getting in plenty of fluid still. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start off with this is probably about a cup of, or maybe this is about a cup of carrot. And I'm going to use the same pulp for the soup, and I'm going to use the same pulp for the pate. So the pate, I'm going to be using the white cap mushrooms. So we have the carrot pulp in here, and I'm using my hands to combine all of this together. So right now, just carrot pulp. I'm going to go ahead and season mine. I have some ground cinnamon. You can use fresh cinnamon as well. I'm not using cloves because when I did my my test, and this is about half a teaspoon. When I did my test, when I did the biometric frequency scan, cloves popped up for me. So I'm not doing cloves in mine. And then I have some raw almond flour. You guys can see that. So the brand of the raw almond flour that I get is Now Real Food. You'll see that they have a lot of different items that are raw that you can use, but I'm going to use the raw almond flour. This is about a cup, but I'm going to use maybe half a cup of the almond flour to start off with. And then I'm just going to combine this with my carrots, and it's already getting like a little crummy type of texture here. I'm going to add date syrup, and I'm going to add my sunflower seed butter. So it's already smelling like carrot cake. This is one of the treats that I like whenever I'm craving something sweet. And then if you want, If you want to add apples to this as well, you can. Or if you want to do the same thing but incorporate apples and make like a apple pie bite, then you can do that as well. And I also didn't get coconut because I'm going according to my food sensitive, or not food sensitivities, to my blood type, eating for this week also. And one of the things that causes inflammation for me was coconut. So instead of coconut cream for the soup, I made some almond milk, which is right here, just almonds and water. And I'm going to use that for the carrot ginger soup. So this is sunflower butter. I'm going to start off, and there's dates already in here. I'm going to start off with, this is about a tablespoon. We'll do 2 tablespoons. And I am going to taste it before I decide if I want to add more date syrup to this. So this is what we're working with so far. We have carrots, almond flour, cinnamon, sunflower butter, and then we have some date chunks that are in here. So I'm just mixing this with one hand in case I need to grab something with my other. Put my sleeve up here. This is going to be one of my snacks for tomorrow. I'm making a mess. If you need to add more carrot, add more carrot. If you need to add more almond flour, add more almond flour. You're making this to your liking. This will be very similar to the texture of like a cake pop. And as you can see, I'm getting my carrot everywhere. You guys have any questions so far? Or are we just watching along?
Okay, so you said sunflower butter?
Yeah, so I made sunflower butter. You can get raw sunflower butter from the store, but it's not cheap. It's going to be like $10. You can get a huge bag of sunflower seeds, organic sunflower seeds that are raw from Sprouts, any farmer's market, even at your grocery store. This was $4.99. And then all I did was put it in my blender, my little NutriBullet here, blended it up. I blended it up and made my own sunflower butter. I put some date syrup in there too.
Okay.
So
do you need to add anything to it? Just put the sunflower seeds and blend it?
Yep, sunflower seeds. And then I did put just a little bit of the, I put a little bit of the my plant milk in there, just a little bit to soften it, but I'm going to keep mine in the refrigerator. And I only did that because my food processor is in storage. So right now I am just working with my NutriBullet. I don't have my other items that I typically use. So right now, this is the texture we have. This is the texture that you want right here. And definitely smells like carrot cake. What I'm going to do now is add just a little bit more carrot. And I'm going to add just a little bit more almond flour, raw almond flour. And then I'm going to incorporate my date syrup into it. So I'm going to tell you guys, when you're making this, taste as you go. So that way you'll know what is missing, what else it needs, and so on. So I'm going to add the rest of my almond flour. Oops.
As you do that, I have a question. How do you balance the food sensitivity and your eating for your blood type?
So the food sensitivity test on your report, usually it's fairly low. So as far as what you're going to see with the fruits, vegetables, we're not doing any oils this week. But you know, even with that, the way that I balance it, for me, the only thing, well, some of the stuff that's on my blood type test actually showed up on my food sensitivities. So coconut popped up on mine also, but I just eliminate those things that are on the food sensitivity. And if you look at the list of foods to avoid, um, just avoid those, eliminate it for 2 weeks. And then at that point, you should be doing 80-20. So 80% of the stuff that is good for your body that has a positive impact, and only 20% of the things that have a negative impact. So the 80-20 rule is key. And then anything that's neutral, you can just, you know, have that whenever. So for me, I like, whenever I'm doing cleanses, I like to only do the foods that do not cause any inflammation. And then after that, everything else that's neutral, I'll incorporate those as well.
Okay, great. So yeah, because coconut is also on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, how am I going to do that?
Yeah, so like I said, I love coconut water. I like to roll this in coconut flakes, but in this case, I'm just going to roll it in walnuts. And I just added date syrup to this, and I'm just massaging it in, and then I'm going to form these into little balls, and then I'm going to just pop them in the refrigerator to save them for tomorrow. But yeah, coconut is one of those things, like I love coconut, but after the cleanse is over, I can start incorporating again. I just need to be mindful of the 80-20 rule when it comes to the stuff that's on the, you know, list of the yeses and the nos for your blood type. All right, so this is my mixture. I am going to add more carrot. And I'm not making a ton of soup because I'm the only one eating this. Nobody else in my house is eating raw this week. So I just added about a tablespoon of carrot. And I am going to give mine just a little taste so that way I can make sure that the flavors are there. And then I'm going to roll these into balls, and then I'm going to put pecans around them before I set them to the side. So there's actually chunks of dates in mine also, which I love. Dates are really good for digestion as well. So if you guys are not familiar with dates, highly recommend you guys to get acquainted. So next I'm going to put on my other glove. Okay. All right, so now you're going to get all of this. I didn't taste it yet. Get a small piece. Perfect. So you can even, actually this might need a little bit more date syrup, but what you'll do is you'll roll it into a ball, and then it'll resemble like a cake pop. So then you can roll it in coconut flakes, you can roll it in hemp seeds, you can roll it in hemp seeds and chia seeds, you can roll it in your choice of nuts, and then you just sit it in the refrigerator so that way whenever you are ready for a quick little snack, all you have to do is just grab one. So kind of like energy bites, we're used to like the date balls, but this one you can actually use carrot. So I'm going to add more date syrup to mine. I don't have a free hand that doesn't have the food on it. All right, so let's get all of this worked in, and then I'm going to taste it again. This is reminding me of when I make my bean burgers, the black bean burgers. It's messy just like this, but I always make sure that I wear gloves. All right. Okay, now let's taste it again. Good. All right. So I'm going to get these, roll them into balls, set them on a plate, and then I'm going to just crumble, or not crumble, I'm going to blend up some pecans and roll these in the pecans and then sit those in the refrigerator. But this is what we have, our little carrot cake bites. Let me get a plate because I grabbed everything but a plate. Well, I did grab a plate, I just didn't bring it to the table. All right. All right, so we have one. And if I like a chewy texture, if you like more of a crummy type of texture, I advise you to just use more almond flour, maybe a little bit less sunflower butter than I did. But I like mine to be soft and chewy. So the next thing that we're gonna make is the soup. Actually, we'll go ahead and we will start the veggies for the Bahn Mi wraps. So the Bahn Mi wraps, you can put like a carrot pate in it. The carrot pate that I'm going to be making is just carrots and the mushroom caps. But if you want more of a meaty type of texture, you can use soaked pecans. Actually, I might add some pecans to it also. And then you can even make a nice little sauce to go with it. So usually it's like a mayo based sauce that you can use. But since we're not doing mayo, you can use, coconut cream, or you can use any other plant milk, add hemp seeds in order to thicken up that texture a little bit. Add a little bit of date syrup, some kelp seasoning.
Those with certain conditions like asthma, CHF, or COPD. 60 or older, talk to your doctor about RX protection.
All right, so let me take this off here. And next, I'm gonna clean up my space a little bit, put this in the sink, and I'll be right back. All right, so I think for me, I think I changed my mind. I think I'm gonna roll mine in hemp seeds. So I'm just gonna sprinkle these on top. They kind of look like meatballs to me. All right, and then I'm going to get my pecans. And this is really just for garnish for myself. Dishwasher is done for finishing. And I'm just gonna put these in the fridge overnight or tomorrow. And for good measure, I'm just going to drizzle some date syrup on top.
Can you use walnuts instead of pecans?
Yeah, you can use whatever nuts you want. If you're allergic to nuts, you can even use sunflower seeds. It's completely up to you. I just used pecans because it was the closest thing to me, but I do have walnuts as well. So to show you all what I have, these are our raw carrot cake bites. So I'm gonna put these. Does somebody have a question? Okay. So this is the first thing. You can do this with apples. Substitute apples instead of carrots. And actually, I'm gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on top also. Just a little bit of extra. So taste as you go. So that way we can learn and get in the habit of just adding a little bit more for our taste. So you can actually put lemon juice in this as well if you want more of a tangy type of taste. All right, 1 second. Alrighty. Added those to a different container to put in the fridge. So next we're gonna do our soup. We have container here for my NutriBullet. I'm going to add my plant milk. This is almond milk. If you're wondering if you're using coconut cream, then you could probably leave the hemp seeds out. So I'm gonna add hemp seeds, about a tablespoon. I'm going to add my carrot pulp. So I'm gonna add about this is half a cup. This is about a cup of carrot pulp. I'm gonna add some ginger. This is garlic, sorry. I'm gonna add about 2 cloves of garlic. I'm adding cilantro. Just a little bit. And I'm gonna add some little bit of red onion. And this is our kelp seasoning, our raw kelp seasoning that will give you a taste of salt, a little bit of fishiness. And then I'm gonna add some turmeric. This is turmeric powder. I also have fresh turmeric, but I don't feel like staining my hands right now. And it's a little bit strong, so we're gonna add about half a teaspoon. I'm only making enough for just myself, so this is enough for like 1 serving. I'm gonna add just a pinch of cinnamon. So these ingredients that I'm doing now, as you can see, they're different than the ones that I gave you on the on our group. And that's because I'm just intuitively doing this. I'm doing it a little different than I usually do it. So the way that I usually do it is the ingredients that I sent you all on the portal. I mean, not on the portal, but on our Instagram chat. But what I'm doing here is I'm adding a little bit of cinnamon because I'm automatically thinking like, oh, it's holiday flavors. Carrot soup, butternut squash soup, sometimes sweet potato soup, a lot of these root vegetables, with the exception of white potatoes, adding cinnamon does enhance the flavor. So I'm just grating some ginger, not too much. Okay. And I'm going to add just a little bit of lime juice, just a little. And this is key lime. And this is just half of 1 key lime. Okay. So next, I'm just gonna blend it up until I get the texture that I want. And then I'm gonna taste it as I go. I might add a little bit of tahini to this as well. All right, so I have my blender behind all of my things. So this is gonna be our creamy carrot ginger soup. Let's give it a taste and see what it needs. So it's not as carroty as I would like. So I'm gonna add more carrot, and I'm also going to add more turmeric, and then I also have some more of my kelp seasoning.
Any substitutes for kelp?
You can use more lemon or lime juice. But the kelp seasoning is more so our substitute for salt.
Okay.
So I'm going to add some more lime juice. Turn this the other way. Don't want the seeds to come out. Okay. And it looks like seed came through. All right, let's blend this up some more. I just added a little bit more carrot. So when it comes to raw and plant-based food, I highly recommend just intuitively cooking, or not cooking, but intuitively prepping your food. This gets you familiar with different flavors, and it also helps you with just being more creative in the kitchen. When we depend on our recipes, it kind of restricts us in a way that we are afraid to go outside of the box and create new things. You know, whenever, and I'm adding more ginger because the ginger was not coming through for me in the ways that I wanted it to. But whenever I used to eat meat, I was very picky, I guess you can say. I would only eat certain things, and outside of those things, I wouldn't eat anything else. So when I ate meat, I would only eat chicken and turkey, and I would not eat anything that had skin or bones. My vegetables, it was like steamed vegetables. I wasn't familiar with, you know, different sauces outside of dressings like, you know, ranch, honey mustard, barbecue, the basic things. So it wasn't until I stopped eating meat that I actually started, you know, being curious about what I could do with what I had, because I felt like I was restricting myself even more. So whenever you are getting familiar with different flavors, especially when it's foods that you've never had before, just make sure that you are expanding your palate, that you're tasting as you go. If something doesn't taste right, do not feel like it is ruined. Just keep going by either adding extra things to it and then fixing it. So this is kind of how we have to look at life as well. You know, just because things don't go right doesn't mean that, you know, it's ruined. We find things, we adapt, and then we make the adjustments that are needed. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this up, and then I'm going to taste it again. I'm going to grab a spoon. I was thinking about bringing out the C2, but it's too big for this table. When you're making this, make sure you have a good blender, by the way. I have a good one, but it's too big for this glass table. The C2 would have taken off the whole side of this. All right. So I'm going to taste my creamy carrot ginger soup, see where we're at. So your texture is going to be, and this is perfect. So it has a little bit of spice from our ginger. Has a little bit of texture from the carrots. Sorry, but it's perfect. So don't feel like your food has to be overly salty. Your taste buds are going to change a little bit during this week. We're going to be focusing on just being more creative. A way that you can enhance this is squeezing lime juice on top of it, and then also garnishing with cilantro. So and when I tell you guys this blender sucks, I used to be a huge fan of NutriBullet until I started using the Vitamix and then the C2. I might have to actually bring out my C2. But do you guys have any questions about the creamy carrot ginger soup while I go in?
So what's going to be room?
Yes, this is eaten cold. Have you ever had gazpacho before?
Yes.
So imagine kind of like the texture of gazpacho, but creamy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and more of a carrot flavor. So you can have this room temperature or you can have it cold. I prefer to have mine cold. All right, so I'm saving this also. I'm just gonna put it into a mason jar. This is my soup. The consistency, the texture is like a smoothie. I like mine thick. If you want yours to be more watery or more soupy, then you can blend it longer. You can add more of the liquid to yours. But this is how I like mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and squeeze more lime juice on here. What do you need, Raya? Okay. So I'm going to squeeze lime juice right here on the top. Let me not break this because I am notorious for breaking all of my kitchen gadgets. I feel like there's some more juice in here though. Get a little bit more. All right. So imagine carrot gazpacho. If you want to add some cucumber to this, you could add cucumber as well. And then I'm going to just top it with a little bit of cilantro. And I'm going to pop this in the refrigerator for tomorrow. So this is our second one. This is our creamy carrot ginger soup. You guys see that? Okay. All right. I'm going to put this up. All right, and then now I'm going to show you, here's my jar here. I'm gonna show you how to make the pickled veggies for the Bahn Mi wraps. So it's not really pickled. I'm gonna actually fill this halfway with water. 1 second. All right, so we have water. I'm gonna add tahini, and this is not your traditional Bahn Mi. So I'm adding some tahini. This is raw tahini. And then I'm gonna add cilantro. I'm gonna add garlic. For you all, you would add apple cider vinegar to this. I'm not adding apple cider vinegar to mine because on my food sensitivity test, not food sensitivity test, but on my blood type, it said no vinegar, no apple cider vinegar or anything. So for me, none of that. And then I'm gonna add lime juice. Oh, good, the seed fell over there. This way. There we go. You can use lemon juice as well. I'm gonna use one more lime. Okay. And I'm also gonna grate some ginger in here. Give this a stir. You can add red pepper flakes in here also, but another thing that was on my blood type was no peppers, no red pepper flakes or anything. So that's why I'm not doing jalapenos in this. Usually I would do jalapenos or something for spice, red pepper flakes. And then this is more of the kelp seasoning. And I'm adding quite a bit. And then I'm going to give this one more stir. You can add green onion in here as well. So I'm just going to shake this up. And this is going to be in place of my pickled veggies. With you guys using apple cider vinegar, you will have more of a pickly type of taste. Mine is just going to be very fragrant. Let's taste it. All I taste is garlic because I just touched the garlic with my hands. I don't think I used this one. All right, I need more lemon, or a lime rather. I can definitely taste the ginger. Okay. And then to this, I'm going to add red onion. I'm going to add daikon radish. These are going to sit overnight, and then I'm just going to put this in a lettuce wrap. And then I'm going to use like some of my sunflower seed butter. I'm going to add a little bit of date syrup in here also. So we got carrots, and then I also have some cucumber. Let's make sure that it all fits. Okay. Should we push all of this down? I'm gonna add my date syrup right to the top, and then I'm gonna shake this. Right. All right, so let this sit overnight, and then in the morning you all will have your own version of pickled veggies, but you guys are going to be using apple cider vinegar. If you use apple cider vinegar or regular vinegar, outside of that, you can use plenty of lemon, plenty of lime, lots of herbs, and then it'll be more like a herby type of marinated veggie. So you can eat these raw straight out of here as well. I add the tahini just because not using any toasted sesame oil. So you can still get some of that sesame seed type of taste in here with the tahini. Any questions that you guys have?
As far as the carrot pulp, you're making those recipes. So how much of that did you use for both of those recipes? I didn't hear the beginning part of it.
So for the first recipe, I just kind of eyeballed it, but I used about a cup and a half of the carrot pulp. For the second one, I used about a cup. But what I want you all to do is make sure that you're tasting as you go. The carrot pulp, depending on your juicer, the texture will be different. So if you have a nama, then the texture of your carrot pulp is going to be fairly dry. So if it's really dry, then you're not going to really have that carroty, like the sweetness from the carrot. It'll just taste like a dry pulp. So you're going to have to use more date syrup, or you're going to have to use, more sunflower butter. The texture of your sunflower butter might change also, depending on if you make it or if you're buying it from the store. Also, where you are also depends on just the, sweetness, the spiciness of your vegetables as well. So that's why I always say taste as you go, because where you are in the States, your food will taste different. The type of juicer that you have, your pulp will taste different. Like my pulp is very dry. If you do have a high power juicer, then your pulp might be a little bit more wet. And if it is, then you will have more sweetness from the carrots, and you won't have to add, you might have to add more dry ingredients such as the almond flour, and things like that. I hope that answered your question. As far as how much to use, that's how much I use, but depending on the juicer that you have and how wet your carrots are, that might change. So if you want to get rid of some of the moisture from your carrots, you can actually get some cheesecloth, or you can just get like a paper towel. I mean, not a paper towel, like a regular towel also, put it in the middle and then squeeze the rest of the moisture out of the carrot before you use it. So that might help as well. But mine is very dry, so there's not much sweetness that's left in the carrot. That's why I added more date syrup.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Before I go ahead.
The preference is always to make your own plant-based milk, but do you have go-to if you can that you get from the supermarket?
Yes. So there's two. There's two brands that we have, or that I have used. Whoops, here it is. So we have Malk, spelled like this. Malk is a good brand, and then Califia Farms has the organic one as another good one. But the Califia Farms, that one does have salt in it, but it should be fine. But those two definitely. There's also another one. What is it called? Three Sisters. I can't remember. Or they might just have creamers. Those two definitely. Those are the two that I get. And they're just very simple, 3 ingredients. Just, your filtered water, your nuts. Sometimes they add like salt, but that's it. Like just a little bit of salt. But those are the two brands that if you are going to the store to pick up some, that you can get. Any other questions? Yes, Elmhurst. That was the one. Elmhurst is another good one. So Elmhurst, they actually have a walnut milk. They have a pecan milk that's really good. I think they have a cashew milk also. That's pretty good too. So all of these are going to range around like anywhere from like $6 to $10. You don't get that much, but it's still, if you don't have the time or you just don't want to put in the effort, because I know we're all exhausted now, then those are some options for you. So with these veggies right here, these are going to sit in the refrigerator overnight. What I'm going to do, sorry, I have to sneeze. What I'm going to do is just get lettuce wraps, put my pickled veggies on there. It'll still have a nice little crunch. And then I'm going to make, just a little sauce with sunflower butter, date syrup, my kelp seasonings, some lime juice, and also some hemp seeds, and then just blend it up. And it's just like a nice little peanut sauce. Well, not peanuts, but, sunflower seed sauce. Or if you are, using peanuts or nuts, then you can do that as well. Whatever nuts you want to use for it. But that, and then if you can eat peppers, then that's amazing. You can do like a red pepper sauce. That's good as well. You can make if you want something creamy, then you can use tahini to make a sauce as well. But were there any other? Oh, go. Somebody had a question?
No, I was just saying I love tahini.
Oh yeah, me too. Like I'm so glad that tahini did not pop up on my list. Sesame oil did pop up on the list for things to avoid for my blood type, but tahini is okay, thank goodness. But I'm guessing just because it's, raw brown sesame seeds and it hasn't been, processed or anything. So with my blood type, which is A, they're telling me essentially to stay away from anything processed, and anything fermented. So usually, when we think about gut health, like eating fermented veggies is great for gut health. But in my case, it's not. And they said it's primarily because with the blood type A, that you have low stomach acid. So blood type O has high stomach acid. So you're able to eat, more of the items that might be acidic. So oranges are on mine of foods to avoid. Also, I did buy some oranges from the farmer's market in order to juice. So I still juice them, but I just, gave it to my mother because she's juicing this week. But yeah, the blood type test is very helpful. And thinking back on it, especially when it comes to the fermented items, when I did go to South Korea, and South Korea, anywhere in Asia, like they love some fermented vegetables, kimchi in Korea. So of course, when I was there, I had some vegan kimchi, and I was definitely messed up for a good 5 days after that. So I can see why they're telling me to avoid that. But I just want you guys to get creative this week. Make sure that you are eating foods that you like. Do not feel like you have to stick to my list or the thing, everything that I'm saying, they're just recommendations. When you're breaking your fast tomorrow, make sure that you eat fruit first. So either a smoothie, highly recommend smoothies. Maybe stay away from the citrus or anything that could irritate your gut. But, if you're making a smoothie, then berries are good. Adding a little bit of banana in there might be all right for you. If you're eating, like eat some apples. That's really good for, breaking fast as well, or some grapes. That would be good for you as well. But do you guys have any questions about this upcoming week? We do have our herbal education workshop that's tomorrow. So if you guys have not filled out the survey, I'm going to drop it in our chat again. So that way, if you haven't completed it, that you can, and we can address those things tomorrow. But were there any other questions before we hopped off? How's everybody feeling after 7 days of juices and water and coconut water?
Happy for tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah. So what are we planning on breaking fast with? What are you guys planning on I guess starting your day off with?
Blueberry and banana healthy smoothie.
Yes, that sounds good. That's like my go-to. I usually add a little bit of sunflower butter in there too, so it tastes like PB&J. Anybody else? What are y'all breaking fast with?
You really like that sunflower butter, so is that
Look,
is that like the bomb?
it is like sunflower butter. The taste. So peanut butter is very rich. Sunflower butter can be rich, but it's just smoother. I prefer it. I was exposed to sunflower butter when my daughter was, how old was she? She was like 3. Because she was home with me until she was about 3.5, and then I finally let her go to daycare part-time. When she went to daycare, they were like, we're nut free. There's, no nuts allowed of any sort. And like, she would love some PB&J or getting like, peanut butter, dipping her apples in it, celery, whatever. So, I'm in the store and I'm like, what the heck can I get her, that's not nut based? And I saw sunflower butter. I was like, I guess I'll try it. And I've been hooked on it ever since. Whether I'm buying it or whether I'm making it, like, I love some sunflower butter. The texture is just so much milder. It's very smooth and it's like soft and creamy. It's amazing. It's probably similar to cashew butter, but I can't eat cashews. So, sunflower butter, if you know anybody with nut allergies, tell them if they've never had peanut butter, try some sunflower butter. It's really good.
All right. Thank you for that information.
You're welcome. Anybody else? What are you guys breaking fast with?
I have some raspberries, blackberries, and I'm gonna do apples and a juice.
Ooh, so make sure you guys are juicing this week. Thank you for mentioning that. Make sure you guys continue juicing. Juicing is not done. We're just adding raw foods onto what it is that we're eating. Where did you find blackberries? I can't find blackberries for the life of me, and I've been craving some blackberries. And I was looking in the store today. I was like, yes, I'm gonna get me some blackberries for this week, and I couldn't find any anywhere. I saw raspberries and blueberries.
Actually found them in Aldi. They were organic.
You know what? I be sleeping on Aldi. I need to go in there. And Aldi, Trader Joe's, those are two of the places where they have the non-GMO initiative. So nothing in there is GMO. I do need to go to Aldi. I need to stop sleeping on them. I need to find one. I think there's one in the city next to mine. So I'm going to check them out tomorrow. Yeah, my daughter. What time is it? I'm like, is it bedtime yet? So we ate. But yeah, that's all that I have. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will talk to you guys in the chat. I'm going to clean up this huge mess that I made and prepping, but I'm just trying to get everything done for this week. It's better to prepare because once you start eating it, well, first of all, your metabolism has slowed down, but it will speed up as you start eating. So just be mindful that, always be prepared. Have your fruits already, cut up, have your veggies already chopped, just so if you want to make a quick salad, you're not getting in the habit of just not eating at all because you just, you don't have stuff already ready to go. So just, cut up some cucumbers, cut up some carrots, some onions, some peppers, and just have it ready to go. So if you want a salad, you can throw something together real quick. You can make a little fruit salad, pre-make your sauces for the next couple of days. So that way you can just have them ready. We're not eating anything processed. So no dressings, no sauces, no nothing from the store. We're not doing any oils. We're not doing any salt. We're going to use kelp seasoning in place of salt. You might have to use a little bit more, but that's fine. And we're not doing any sugars. We're doing date syrup. And yeah, so use all of the herbs. If you need more of a salty type of flavor, I always tell everybody not salt, but key limes are going to give you the key limes, lemon, and then that mixed with the kelp seasoning will give you a nice little salty type of flavor.
Can we use the nori sheets?
As long as they're the raw ones, yes. So make sure there's two different types of nori that you'll see. You'll see the raw nori in the store, and then you'll also see the roasted. So do not get roasted nori. Just get the regular ones. Texture is a lot more chewy, but you can use those. And then also something that I want to recommend, you can get this at Sprouts, but this is also my go-to. This right here. These coconut wraps, you can use these in place of something like tortillas. They're raw, and I live by it. So I like to just, sit on mine for a little bit just to kind of warm it up, or just, just make sure it's not cold. When it's cold, it has like a hard, crunchy type of texture. But yes, these wraps are a lifesaver. What I'm going to do tomorrow is actually use this, put my lettuce wrap inside of it, and then put my pickled veggies in there with my sauce, and then eat it like that. And then also have some white cap mushrooms, some raw white cap mushrooms that I'll probably toss on there as well. But those, yes, you can use raw nori wraps. And then you can also use these coconut wraps. These are raw. They have different ones. So this is just a plain one. They have a cinnamon one that you can use and put fruit and sunflower butter in. So if you fill it with like strawberries and sunflower butter or bananas and sunflower butter, it's so good, the cinnamon ones. And then they also have a turmeric one. And then they have not this brand, but there's another brand. They have a mango one, and it's like mango and chili. And they also have like a tomato one also.
They have a moringa one also now, I saw.
Ooh, okay. So I need to go and look for that one. But yes, the coconut wraps are also going to be a good go-to for you guys.
Yeah, I got them from Amazon.
Yes, Amazon is good because you can get more of them. Like one of these is like $9, but if you go on Amazon, you can get 3 packs of these for like $15.
I asked about the substitute for kelp because kelp was on my sensitivity test.
It was. So if you can't do kelp, then you can do lemon and you can do lime. Usually those are the only other two that are going to give you like a salty, I guess type of taste or replacement. Or if you can't use kelp, then this one is another one. This one has garlic in it, but they're raw. Anything by this brand, Seasonings, Maine Coast. So they have raw seasonings that you can use.
Okay.
All right. Were there any other questions that you all have for me? All right. So I will see you all tomorrow on the call with Talik for our herbal education workshop. I will drop the link for the survey again, so that way you guys can fill that out, and then I'll check in with you. And congrats on completing 7 days. I know it was not easy for us, but you all hung in there, and yeah, we'll do Raw Week starting tomorrow. Don't forget to turn your timers off also on Life Plus.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You all enjoy your evening.
Enjoy.
Bye.
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 It was that bad?
Yeah, and I forgot to record it, but I